Hello. Say hi. It's little Livee. That's her little one eyeball. And I love her. Yeah, you're a good girl. So I'm finally going to try to start filming my winter book haul. It's going to take a while, so it is winter book haul time. I think I'm just going to start December through February, just in chronological order. I think that sounds like the most logical reason. Hi! I'm gonna have cats all around. Got little Livee and her older sister, Penny. She's Livee is the lovey one. Penny is a snot, and she is a spoiled princess, and she knows it. I had to take my jacket off. It was way too hot up here in my upstairs bedroom. But so I'm gonna talk about the books that I got in the months of December, January, and February. The months of December, I got 7 books, one of which was sent to me through Owl Crate, and I will be talking about that in a little bit. First, I'm going to talk about some of the books that I got for Christmas, and the first ones are the comic adaptations of BBC Sherlock, A Study in Pink and The Blind Banker. My best friend, Rosie, over in the UK, sent these to me for Christmas. Oh, and I haven't been able to find them in my dinky little small town in the middle of Michigan. So she sent them to me, and I am very, very grateful. I am very excited to devour them. I haven't had a chance to. Basically, these books are the anime comic adaptations of the episodes from the BBC series Sherlock, which started in 2010, starting with A Study in Pink, second, A Blind Banker. The third one, The Great Game, that one I believe is still being printed in a series before it's put into these various nice little book forms. I've seen a couple editions of book 3 that's being put out right now, but I'm going to wait until it's nice and bound and all together so that I can have them looking nice and pretty on my shelf with their pretty faces. Next, I got the second volume of the black edition of Death Note. First one I picked up in a comic book shop called Vault of Midnight in Grand Rapids. I was visiting a friend. We were bar hopping. We saw the comic book store. We couldn't say no. So I read the first volume in a matter of days, and I have been basically waiting to read this one. This was my first foray into anime and manga. I'm gonna call it manga. Anime. I know there's a difference, but I'm not that knowledgeable about it. Basically, Death Note, for whoever doesn't know, hi Livee, is about a boy named Light Yagami who finds the Death Note of Ryuk. The Death Note basically allows the owner, the user, to write in the name of someone they want to see dead, the way they want to see them to die, and when. But it has to be within 48 hours. Otherwise, if you don't specify, they just die of a heart attack. Easy peasy. Or you could just have someone be decapitated. Very violent, very fun, very mysterious, very suspenseful. Next up is Simon versus the Homo Sapiens Agenda by Becky Albertalli. Book very near and dear to my heart. Movie comes out in a couple of days. Very excited to see that. But this follows the tale of Simon, a gay teen in high school who is trying to figure out who his secret admirer is. They've been emailing back and forth for a while, and then one of his so-called friends finds the emails and blackmails Simon into trying to get him into a relationship of sorts with one of his friends. Simon, even though he knows who he is, he hasn't come out to his friends and his family yet. So he agrees to the blackmail on principle, but he does not enjoy it. He's not happy. He avoids the situation as best as he can, and he's just sick and tired of straight people bullshit. And I'm here for this. Penny has come to say hello. It's a little snot. You're just a little snot, and I love you. Next up, I got Renegades by Marissa Meyer. This is in the same universe as the Lunar Chronicles, which, gosh, it took me forever to get into the Lunar Chronicles, and I'm so glad that I did. I'm so excited to dive back into this universe. This is a chunky book. Like, look at that. And it's gonna take me a while to read through it. It's over 530 pages. And with the way that I've been reading lately, it's gonna take me about a month and a half to get through that book. Next, my book from Owl Crate, their December Owl Crate. Their book of the month was Foolish Hearts by Emma Mills. Oh, I had to adjust my sitting position. I was sitting on my knees to try to look taller. It wasn't working. So, Foolish Hearts by Emma Mills. I feel like I have to hold it up higher now since I'm down lower, because otherwise you're not going to be able to see it. So, when Claudia accidentally eavesdrops on the epic breakup of Paige and Iris, the it couple, at her school, she finds herself in hot water with prickly, difficult Iris. Thrown together against their will into a class production of A Midsummer Night's Dream, the only Shakespeare play that I could stand, the only Shakespeare play that I like, the only Shakespeare play that I have read multiple times, to the point where I could probably, if I sat down and thought hard about it, recite. Alright, along with the goofiest, cutest boy Claudia has ever known, Iris and Claudia are in for an eye-opening senior year. I just love A Midsummer Night's Dream, and I am shocked that I haven't read this book yet. And there are so many books on my TBR already. I'm just at least trying to read 2 books a month. At least a book a month. I've been in huge reading slumps, and I'm trying to get out of them. I'm trying to get out of it. Last, but not least, a book that really needs. A book that really needs no introduction, but I'm going to give it one anyway because it deserves it. The last book that I got in the month of December was Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban, the illustrated edition. These books come out every year in October. Every year for Christmas, I'm guaranteed to get a copy because this is the one book that I ask my mom for every Christmas. It's the newest illustrated Harry Potter. And it's so beautiful. Look at how beautiful Crookshanks is. Oh my gosh. This was the book series that defined my childhood. And I was scared to read it when it first came out. And then the movie came out. And I decided, you know what? This is fascinating. And I'm going to obsess over it. So I did. Alright, so that was all of my books for the month of December. Let's move on to January. I only picked up 3 books in the month of January. It was a slow reading month for me, a slow book buying month for me. But one of my local Schuler bookstores was closing, and so they had 45% off everything. So I couldn't say no to 45% off some great books. So the first one I got was Daughter of the Pirate King by Tricia Levenseller? I'm hoping I'm pronouncing that right. This was an Owl Crate book pick, but I chose not to get that box. But I decided, you know what? For 10 bucks at 45% off, I'm not going to say no. Hi, Penny. Welcome back. Can you tell that this is super awkward and that I've never done this before? I know I should be giving, like, synopses of the books. Penny, crinkly paper, cats. You gotta love them, though. Alright. I just feel super awkward doing this, and I gotta get past that. I gotta get past that, because my brother's in the next room, and he's hearing me and judging me. Penny, why are you playing with my jacket? Why are you doing this? Fine, you can play with it. So Alosa is a 17-year-old captain of a pirate ship, and she is searching to retrieve a hidden ancient map that will lead to legendary treasure. Hello. How are you? I'm gonna have lots of interruptions because cats. She purposefully allows herself to get captured as part of her way to figure out where her enemies are going, to search their ship for whatever information they have on the whereabouts of this map. She is the daughter of a pirate king, the pirate king. And I guess it's just a nice adventure, and the sequel is Daughter of the Siren Queen, which is already out, but I wanted to read this first before I picked up the sequel, just because I don't need more books. But I do. But I don't. But I do. The second book that I got in the month of January was Release by Patrick Ness. It looks very fun to look at it this way. I haven't read any of Patrick's novels before. I do also have The Rest of Us Just Live Here. Yet more books to go in my ever-growing TBR. But the woman who set up the end cap was very happy that I had grabbed this. Since the store wasn't going to be around until the month of June, they're closed now, but she wanted to set up her LGBT end cap before the store had closed, and she was so happy that I went over there and grabbed this book. And I'm so happy that I went over there and grabbed this book. This follows a day in the life of Adam Thorne, the worst day of his life. His religious family, a deeply unpleasant ultimatum from his boss, you know that feel, bruh, and his own unrequited love for his sort of ex, it seems as though Adam's life is falling apart. At least he has two people to keep him sane, his new boyfriend and his best friend. But all day long, old memories and new heartaches come crashing together, throwing Adam's life into chaos. The bindings of his world are coming untied one by one, yet in spite of everything he has to let go, he may also find freedom in the release. In the Release by Patrick Ness. Oh man. Forgive me for that. That was dad level joke. And I'm only 26. And the last book I got in the month of January is Goodbye Days by Jeff Zentner. Basically about why texting and driving is a horrible, horrible thing. This young man was texting his friends while they were on the road, and they got into a fatal accident, and he blames himself for their deaths. And the people suing him blame him for their deaths. Oh my goodness. Just sounds like this is going to be a pretty hard-hitting novel. And I guess that's why I've put off reading it for so long, is because am I ready for that level of emotion to just consume me? Maybe when it's raining and I can drink a hot cup of coffee and sit in my bed by my window and read. Then maybe I will dive into this. But not today. And that's it for January. Now moving on to February, my birthday month. So of course I got a lot of books, but none of them actually for my birthday. I bought them all for myself, and I received one other book from Owlcrate. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 books in the month of February, and I read one. I deserve this. First up figure I should talk about my Owl Crate book, The Hazelwood, this exclusive green and gold cover, and oh, there's my Owl Crate author letter. I forgot I put that in there. And it's signed by the author. Ooh, so shiny. Hi, Penny. The Hazelwood is retellings of fairy tales. This young woman, her grandmother wrote and collected fairy tales for a living. And then one day, oh, her grandmother dies in the estate. The Hazelwood is left to Alice of Wonderland. Oh, again, my dad jokes need to stop. My friend Lindsay would be proud though. Oh my goodness. And so, I know that this one is the first either in a duology or a trilogy. I'm not 100% certain, but I know that there is going to be another one later next year or early next year. I don't know. I should look these things up before I start filming. Next time, I will learn from my mistakes. Next time it won't be so awkward. I hope. I picked up a copy of The Bells with this beautiful, it's embossed and it feels amazing and I love it. This beautiful, beautiful woman on the cover is stunning. She is stunning. Stunning. Written by Danielle Clayton. I know I'm butchering her name. I do apologize, Miss Clayton, Mrs. Clayton. But, oh, it's so beautiful. So in a world where people are born gray and with red eyes, there is no beauty in the world apart from the bells. The bells have the power to make people beautiful and to change their own appearances. And every year, one belle is chosen as the Queen's favorite, and Camilla Beauregard is hoping to be that chosen person. But she later finds out that not everything is as cracked up as it's said to be. There are dark, dark secrets hidden in the kingdom, and the Queen wants to use the belle's power for things other than making her citizens look nice. There are some dark and twisted elements. It's in this beautiful, beautiful kingdom of New Orleans. I love when there are maps in books. It really helps with the world building and when I can figure out where things are supposed to be. I think that really helps. And plus, I just like looking at these new worlds. It's a wonderful escape. It's wonderful. I picked this up at my local Meijer, which for people who don't know what Meijer is, it's basically Walmart, but on a much better, higher standard scale. Now, I know this is the first in a series, but I don't know if it's just going to be a duology or if it's going to be a trilogy. Regardless, I'm excited to see where else this universe is going to go. And next, also from Marissa Meyer, The Wires and Nerve, Volume 1 and 2. I have been meaning to pick this up since it first came out, and I was not going to be satisfied with a paperback. I needed the beautiful, beautiful hardback editions because I am a hardcover fangirl. They just look prettier on the shelf. Hi, Penny. Again, cats. But thank you for getting me off of that intense rant that I was about to go on. I don't need to do that in this video. Thank you very much. This is not a rant. Now, I do have some paperbacks, as you can see. I'm not used to working backwards here. And sometimes if paperback is all I can get, then I'll be okay with that. Like Vicious by V.E. Schwab, right now you can only get it in the paperback because the hardcover editions are ridiculously, ridiculously expensive. Which I'm just thankful that there are new editions coming out because I'm going to be picking up that one. Again, this is in the Lunar Chronicles universe by Marissa Meyer. This, I believe it follows Aiko this time? Yeah, it follows Aiko. Cinder's little sidekick, if you would want to call her sidekick. But her best friend. We'll call her her best friend. That is a better word for Aiko because I adore her. And she is beautiful and amazing, and she's just got the best personality, I think. She's always trying to find the positive in something. And in a universe like the Lunar Chronicles, where it's just sci-fi dystopian, and there are cyborgs and wolf-human hybrids who are increasingly grotesque the more they go to their wolf side. It's just, you need that little bit of positivity. And Aiko is that for this universe. Next up, I picked up Scythe and Thunderhead, the Arc of a Scythe series by Neil Shusterman. The Thunderhead one is a Barnes & Noble exclusive edition in that at the end it contains chapter-by-chapter notes from the author explaining why he chose certain things to write in this book, I believe. It's just, I am just excited to see the writing process behind this, because I am an aspiring writer myself. I'm working on multiple stories all at once, and they're all jumbled up in my head. But this is why we have apps on our phones, such as Evernote, or just plain old Microsoft Word, to help organize the thousands of tabs that are open in my head. So, in the Scythe universe, humans have found a cure for death. There's no crime, no one dies. Generally, the world is pretty happy. But because no one dies, there is an overpopulation problem. And therein come the Scythes, who are charged and tasked with killing people when they reach a certain point in their life. So basically, if you were to get into your late 80s, early 100s, depending on when they say that you're done with your life, these people come and kill you. So in the first Scythe, Citra and Rowan are chosen to be apprentices to a Scythe, a role that neither of them want. These teens must master the art of taking life, knowing that the consequence of failure could mean losing their own. Livee, why must you interrupt me with your cuteness? Yes, honey, I love you, but I'm trying to film. Cats. And then in Thunderhead, Thunderhead is the perfect ruler of a perfect world, but it has no control over the Scythedom. A year has passed since Rowan has gone off-grid. Oh, spoilers! I should probably not be reading this. That's the one issue, because I need to read this first before I can read the synopsis of this, because spoilers. I'm conflicted. It takes place in the Scythe universe. That's pretty much all you need to know, right? It's a sequel to this one. And then I think there's one more. I think it's a trilogy. I don't think it's a duology. There's one more. And this one only just came out. So later this year, early next year, there'll be a final installment, I'm hoping. Scythe, where are you? Arc of Scythe. Come on, internet, load with me. Please go, go. There we go. Arc of Scythe. Yes, okay, so there's a third one coming out, but it doesn't say when. Probably next year. It's called The Toll. Exciting. And finally, I have reached the last book, Red Queen Special Collector's Edition from Target by Victoria Aveyard. And it has beautiful, beautiful sprayed, stained edges, much like Six of Crows in Crooked Kingdom have. So, in this world, there are those with red blood and those with silver. Mare Barrow and her family are lowly reds. We are lowly plebs. Destined to serve the silver elite, whose supernatural abilities make them nearly gods. Mare steals what she can to help her family survive. I feel you, bro. When her best friend is conscripted into the army, she gambles everything to win his freedom. A twist of fate leads her to the royal palace itself, where, in front of the king and all his nobles, she discovers a power of her own, an ability she didn't know she had. Except her blood is red. I know that there was a new one coming out fairly recently, if it's not already out. So we've got Red Queen, Glass Sword, King's Cage, and then a new one. Again, let's consult Goodreads, shall we? Go to the series. War Storm. Comes out in May. Oh, it's book number 4. I have a lot of catching up to do on all of these series. There's so many books and so little time. I can't lift up all of these books in frame. Oh my god, okay. No, this isn't gonna work. Oh god. This'll work for now. So I had 17 books to unhaul. Lord knows how long that actually took to unhaul. Now I gotta edit this monstrosity. I hope whoever watches this found it fun, entertaining. Maybe you'll find some new books that you want to check out. If I can at least pass on at least one book on to somebody that they haven't read and didn't think that they would ever read, then I'm going to consider this a win. Bye.